While Michael McKee, the man who is accused of murdering Dr. Spencer Tepe and his wife Monique Tepe, who just so happens to be the ex-wife of the suspect, Mr. McKee, the defendant, while that court appearance only lasted about a minute, there's still tons of information that we have learned about this case, and we're going to discuss it tonight. Stick with me. This video contains mature themes and discussions intended only for adult audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Are you constantly narrating your own life like it's a Dateline episode? Do you whisper, "The husband did it," at weddings? You may be one of the millions silently suffering from a condition known as true crime brain syndrome, or TCBS. But now there's hope. Cluvelta, the first semi-legal, questionably tested treatment for TCBS. Cluvelta helps restore balance to your life by gently replacing your obsession with murder with an obsession with real estate shows. Cluvelta users report fewer murder boards, shorter Reddit rabbit holes, and an increased ability to trust their spouses again. Maybe. Side effects of Cluvelta may include watching cooking shows and actually following the recipes, trusting your neighbors not to be serial killers, starting a knitting club, and accidentally solving local crimes anyway, hallucinations of Keith Morrison narrating your dreams, and in rare cases, mild interest in HGTV. If you experience sudden urges to say, "Let's circle back," or "This doesn't add up," discontinue use immediately and call your podcast co-host immediately. Cluvelta, because even you deserve to sleep without checking your Ring camera 12 times a night. Hello there, my friend, and welcome back to another true crime conversation with me, Gavin Fish. Thank you for joining me, wherever you're joining me from. And please tell me in the comments. I just want to pause and thank our sponsor. Our sponsor, Cluvelta, is about as real as our producer. I haven't decided who we're hiring yet, by the way. Javi, Dory, or Wanda, but interviews has been tough. I'm a tough interviewer. So yes, thank you to Cluvelta for sponsoring this program. Guys, what happened today? This week has gone by so fast. Has it not? So much is going on. And of course, the case that we're talking about today is the case of the murder of Monique Tepe and her husband Spencer Tepe, both of whom were shot to death in their Columbus, Ohio home, according to police, by Monique's ex-husband, Michael McKee. Now, Mr. McKee was arrested earlier this month in Chicagoland area, in Rockford, Illinois. He had to be extradited. He did not fight his extradition, and he made it on back to Ohio, the land of at least his education. He went to The Ohio State University. He's back in Ohio, but for a different reason. It's for his arraignment. Do you guys like the vocal fry? I don't like it very much. But this dude, I'm sure he's not happy to be home. The intern did get me water before we started, so that is great. We've moved up in the world. Let's see where you guys are checking in from. We got Erie, PA in the house. We got Portland, Oregon. We've got Eastern Kentucky, Jacksonville, Florida, blizzarding Ontario, Canada, Meadowbrook, Alabama. Winifred isn't really my name, says, "Gavin, I'm finally catching alive again, ready for snowpocalypse in Little Rock. Hire Wanda, she's elderly and needs a kick." Well, listen, it is against federal law to take into consideration a person's age. Age discrimination is not okay. I haven't even noticed how old Wanda was. she's a strong candidate. Uh, Joanne Marie says, everyone looking good. Gavin, the Cluvelta isn't working anymore. Saginaw, Michigan. Columbus, Ohio. Queen of Ravens likes the ad. Akron, Ohio. Truth Freeze says, following the Father Joe Marino story. Yeah. If you want more information on Father Joe, go over to Meal website, click on the cases page, and scroll on down to Father Joe's handsome mug down here. Where's Father Joe? There he is. And guys, this is a case. I know we're not talking about this tonight, but this is one that will infuriate you. It's a whistleblower Catholic priest who is getting all set to blow the whistle on SA that had been happening by the Catholic Church in Buffalo, and he was found dead in his rectory. It's a case, man, and I'm in touch with his twin sister Sue. Yes, thank you for being here, Truth Freeze. Let's bring up the Tepes again. See where you guys are coming in from. We got Suffolk here. We got Texas, Oregon, South Lake Tahoe. Oh man, sometimes this thing's Colorado. Hope you're staying warm. Manassas, Virginia. Got Fredonia, PA. Dothan, Alabama. What do we got? Somerville, Georgia. West Palm Beach or Wet Palm Beach. Saint Malo, France. France is in the house. We've got so many of our European friends here. Wales, Ohio, San Diego, Western Colorado, Redondo Beach, British Columbia. Thank you all for being here. And again, a special thank you to our sponsor, Cluvelta, which is about as real as our intern and our future producer. Okay, guys, let's just watch for a moment the arraignment. It is about a minute long. It does not take... Let me pause for a second. Hold on, Gavin.
Your Honor, Stephen Schott, Dan Letter, Shayla Faber for this.
Gavin's getting ahead of himself, okay? It doesn't last long. This entire video is like a minute long, okay? He joined by video up on a screen there. And what's the purpose of an arraignment? Purpose of an arraignment really is just to enter, to be faced with your charges and to enter either a plea of guilty or not guilty. It's always not guilty. I don't think I've ever seen an arraignment, especially on a murder case, where he's like, done it. Yeah, that was me. But anyway, let's watch this. Look at his face, man. Look at him. And he does have kind of a Mr. Incredible look to him, right? Like 6 feet tall, about 200 pounds. His neck is as wide as his jaw. I wondered if this guy was using some type of anabolic supplement that is known to cause anger issues. I had wondered about that. But anyway, here we go.
Clear on the record. Make your appearance. Call your first case, please.
Good afternoon, Your Honor, Stephen Schott, Dan Letter, Shayla Faber for the state. First case before the court, State of Ohio versus Michael McKee. It's 26 CR 253. There are 5 counts. 4 counts of aggravated murder, unclassified felonies, and 1 count of aggravated burglary, felony 1. Each of these counts come with a 3 and a 6-year firearm specification.
We're going to talk about those specifications. I had questions about them, but each count comes with a 3 and a 6-year firearm specification. Don't let me forget to talk about that.
Thank you. Counsel, please make your appearance.
Thank you, Your Honor. Diane Menashe on behalf of Michael McKee.
Yeah.
Your Honor, with respect to the allegations, we would acknowledge receipt, waive reading, enter not guilty pleas to all counts contained therein. We would also waive bond at this time, although we certainly reserve the right to raise that at a later date. The plea of not guilty form has been executed and signed on behalf of my client.
So this is going really, really fast, but she's like, okay, we waive the reading of the charges. You don't need to do that, Judge. We waive whether or not my client gets bond. We'll worry about that at a later date. I wonder, by the way, what this guy's personal finances are. Oh, Ohio says as far as me reading the law today as a non-lawyer, I think that in Ohio, it is a state where bond, even on a murder charge, is a defendant's right. So I don't think that the judge can hold him without bond, but he can set it high. I think from what I read today, again, correct me if I'm wrong. We got about 12 seconds left here. Here we go.
Thank you, counsel. I've signed the not guilty plea. I'm signing the bond form indicating that bond has been waived. Anything further?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
That is the entire hearing. That's the entire hearing. It was 58 seconds long. So what did we learn today? Well, let's get into it because there is a terrific article from the Columbus Dispatch. Let me bring it up on screen so you guys can enjoy it as well. Written by Bethany Bruner at dispatch.com. Headline says, Suspect in Monique Spencer Tepe murders, Michael McKee waives bond. Check this out. Amidst a sea of cameras and reporters from local and national media outlets, the Chicago doctor accused of fatally shooting his ex-wife and her husband appeared in an Ohio courtroom for less than 2 minutes. Now, it was 58 seconds. It was less than a minute. Michael McKee appeared for an arraignment on January 23rd in Franklin County Common Pleas Court. He arrived in Ohio and was booked into the Franklin County Jail on January 20th. Arraignments, a cursory early hearing in the judicial process, are often sparsely attended affairs. I find this to be true. In fact, in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, where I live, which borders Ohio to the east, most arraignments happen in district court. They then do cursory arraignments in common pleas court, but almost nobody is there for that. And sometimes arraignments, there might be like 20 arraignment hearings in a row, just bang, 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 bang. Nobody even bats an eye or knows what's going on. So often sparsely attended affairs. The January 23rd hearing in the Tepe killings illustrated the national attention surrounding the case. Cameras from Court TV, local news outlets, and their national affiliates crowded the jury box of Franklin County Common Pleas Courtroom 2B. In addition, several members of the public who were in attendance, either for McKee's hearing or others on the day's docket, were chided by courtroom security for trying to take photos of the hearing in the heavy media presence. At least two people, I love this sentence. At least two people who identify themselves as true crime content creators were also in attendance. Why didn't I go? Man, Columbus is only 4 hours from me. I should have gone. How far is Columbus from me? You guys talk amongst yourselves. How far? I should be going to these hearings. Let's. I'm not going to show you, but let me just figure it out here real quick. Columbus Common Pleas Court. Let's see. Direction poo. It's 3 hours and 23 minutes. I should be going to these. I should be going to these. Anywho, two people that identify themselves as true crime content creators were there. We should make that 3. Okay. No members of McKee's family or the Tepe family attended the hearing. McKee, 39, wearing a jail uniform and appearing via closed-circuit TV, pleaded not guilty through his attorney, Diane Manash. Now, oh, dang it, I've been so good lately. I haven't been yawning, but then you get it in your mind. You get it in your mind, and then it goes. Manash is somewhat of a celebrity attorney in Columbus, as it turns out. I think, let me open this up real quick. Yeah, so local attorney who represented other high-profile clients will now represent Michael McKee. He retained local attorney Diane Manash to represent him. Manash has been an attorney for 27 years, currently works at her own firm. Blah, 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 blah. Who is Diane Monash? I should show you guys this. I'm reading it from a website. Monash grew up in a Seattle suburb before attending Purdue University for her undergraduate degree. She got her law degree from Tulane in New Orleans. During law school, Monash coached Tulane's varsity rowing team. Oh my goodness. Amazing. She moved to Columbus in 98, worked in the public defender's DP unit. She's defended about 36 people facing the DP. Wow, that's seriously, including several high-profile Franklin County cases during her career. She described herself to the dispatch as being strongly opposed to the DP, which inspired a lot of her work in those cases. In 2018, she defended Brian Goldsby, a man convicted of killing 21-year-old Ohio State University student Reagan Tokes. Franklin County Common Pleas Court Judge Mark Serrett credited Monash's argument to the jury during the penalty phase of the trial as the sole reason Goldsby received life in prison with no possibility for parole instead of the DP. She represented Quentin Smith. Okay, well, it's going to go on and on and on and on. She has a reputation for being ruthless and thorough. In legal circles, she's known for a blunt, no-nonsense approach to trial work, while also finding ways to lighten the mood when appropriate. She is an instructor at Harvard Law School's Trial Advocacy Workshop and a fellow in the American College of Trial Lawyers and the International Academy of Trial Lawyers. So she is no joke. This is a good attorney. Okay, getting back to the article. The not guilty plea is standard in criminal cases, so attorneys can review evidence as it continues to be collected. Instead of agreeing to a bond, Monash waived McKee's right to have a bond at this time, but could ask for one to be set at a later date. He's charged with 4 counts of aggravated murder, 1 count of aggravated burglary. Dang it! What is going on? I need oxygen. I need to breathe. Breathing exercises. Okay, connection with the deaths of the Tepes. He's accused of going to the Tepes' home on the 1400 block of North 4th Street in Wineland Park around 3:50 a.m. on December 30th. As I recall, the affidavit of probable cause says 3:52. And fatally shooting the Tepes. The charges McKee faces also include a specification that alleges he used a silencer or other noise suppression device during the killings. If convicted, he faces a maximum sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole. A judge will be assigned to McKee's case following his arraignment, and a trial schedule will be created. Until evidence has been collected, analyzed, and reviewed by all parties in the case, trial dates will be continued. This is very good reporting, because what the court will do, if it's anything like any court that I've ever covered, they will schedule the next hearing. Because they have to. It's required by their code, right? They have to do it. But until the lawyers are ready to actually have a hearing, have a conference, and the judge is too, they'll just keep rescheduling. And we see this over and over and over. So why is Michael McKee facing 4 aggravated murder charges? Ohio law allows charges to be filed based on multiple theories of the same crime, as well as to cover different aspects of the alleged crime. In McKee's case, the 4 aggravated murder charges relate to 2 different aspects of the homicide he is accused of committing. 2 of the charges, one for each of the Tepes, accuse McKee of killing them with prior calculation or design, often called premeditation, which is one subsection of Ohio's aggravated murder law. The other 2 charges, again one for Monique and one for Spencer, accuse McKee of killing them while committing another violent crime, specifically the burglary. This type of charging is common in homicide cases. In fact, I have seen some cases where there are 5 or 6 different homicide charges for the same homicide. So we talked about what happens in an arraignment. Nothing really does. Why does Michael McKee get a chance for bond? Ohio's Constitution requires bonds to be issued in criminal cases unless the defendant is charged with a felony, there's significant evidence in the case, and the defendant poses a substantial risk of serious physical harm to any person or the community. A hearing is held to determine those circumstances and can be requested by prosecutors through a written motion. I guess it's just been a long week. You guys are like, dude, Gavin, I'm probably making you yawn. Not cool. As of January 22nd, no such motion had been filed in McKee's case. Prosecutors can file the motion at any time during the case. Judges and magistrates who set bond are required by law to consider public safety, the seriousness of the crime, the defendant's prior criminal history, and whether the defendant is likely to appear at future court dates. Excessive bond is not permitted. Judges and magistrates are urged to impose the least restrictive release conditions that ensure a person will return to court and not pose a threat to public safety. So I guess I'm wrong. My research led me to believe something else. Maybe he won't be given bond, considering that he is accused of murdering 2 people. Now, what was the thing that I asked you guys to remind me of? I'm not a very good actor. I know what it is. I want to talk about what they call the specifications. Okay, this is the indictment of Mr. McKee. We've gone over this together before. And this is the actual document that part of that report was actually based on. So, count 1, aggravated murder under 2903.01a, and it has 2 specifications. And then count 2 is of Spencer Tepe. The previous one was Monique with the 2 specifications. And then there's aggravated burglary with the 2 specifications. And then there's 2903.01b, which is another aggravated murder charge while killing Monique with the 2 specifications, and then the one for Spencer with the 2 specifications. So what are the 2 specifications? I looked it up, and basically, the specifications say that because of this certain factor that is alleged, if he or she, if the defendant is convicted of this crime and it's proven that he did so with a firearm, and in this case there are 2 of them, there's a firearm specification and a silenced firearm or a suppressed firearm specification, that it is mandatory to add 3 years to the first one or 6 years to the second one. And these are in the Ohio Revised Code. So, section 2941.144 says imposition of a 6-year mandatory prison term upon an offender under Division B1A1 of section 2929, blah, 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 is precluded unless the indictment, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So basically it's like, hey, if it's not precluded and it is included, then there's a mandatory 6-year prison term if they are convicted of this under 2941.144. Under 2941.145, it's a mandatory 3-year addition. Okay. Now that begged the question for me. Okay, well, he's got 5 counts and each count has 2 specifications, meaning that if he is convicted of all 5 counts with the specifications, we're talking 9 times 5, we're adding 45 years to his sentence, which made me wonder, okay, well, are they serving consecutively or concurrently? And this is all just very, I guess, academic. Does it matter? It's life in prison. But it got it, I don't know, it tickled me. So I had to go into it. Well, what I learned is that most of the time it is consecutively. However, I found an article from courtnewsohio.gov from December 9th of 2024, just over a year ago, where Ohio law only allows a maximum of 2 consecutive prison terms for firearm specifications that are added to the sentence of a violent offender. And that comes from a Supreme Court case from, the original case was from 2021. It made it all the way up to the Supreme Court. So I guess the answer to that question is that if he is convicted to life in prison without the possibility of parole, that another 9 years would be added to his sentence. That's what we learned. Was there anything else on this one? I think we got it all, right? Yeah, we got it all. Okay, let's check in. Let's bring up the Tepes again. Let's check in on what y'all are saying over in the live chat. Emmy says, Gavin, love your show. Well, thank you, Emmy. Appreciate it. Reuter says he's for sure scary. Yeah. I want a beach bum eating candy, watching Gavin talk about the case I'm obsessed with. Perfect Friday. That's funny. His mouth is fish mouth, says Sharky Sharona. Hold on, let's see. He does have a little cute little mouth. Child of God 3675. Did you see The Good Pastor? The Good Pastor. JP Miller. Do I have it? I guess I don't. I was going to try to bring up his case here, or his mug here. Was set free today, free on the stalking charges. I did not see that, but it doesn't surprise me. He would get bond on that. Joanne Marie, he looks like Dudley Do-Right. That is funny. I'm glad that Catherine Christensen likes the Cluvelta commercial. You guys know that there is Cluvelta merch. In fact, I think I'm wearing a Cluvelta shirt as we speak. I am. There's Cluvelta merch in the swag shop on my website, gavinfish.com. You can get yourself a tee. What can you get? I've forgotten at this point. Go over to gavinfish.com. Go up to swag. And let's take a look at the Cluvelta collection. Yeah, you can get tees. You can get mugs. I'm telling you, Cluvelta. You can take it in different ways. They have an injectable. They have a pill form. They have like a foam that you can rub on your head, and of course they have the suppository. So yeah, you can definitely. I would just wear the shirt and drink from the mug. I think that would probably help too. Mooney says, just got my Cluvelta mug and I love it. That is another emoji we need. Dang it. You know what? In Slack, Mooney, you need to remind me of the emojis that I need to make for sure. Winged Matchbox, can you tell us if the wedding video has always been on public view or was it turned to public after the incident? I don't know the answer to that question. For as long as I've been paying attention, which is after the incident, it has been publicly viewable. Let's see. Reality Vacation says, Gavin, in my naive early 40s, I pled guilty to a charge of blight. My husband had been charged a gazillion times. After stunned silence, the nice judge schooled me by basically saying, you don't do that. What is a charge of blight? I don't even know what am I showing my naivety here? What is a charge of blight in court? Is that just, oh yeah. Okay. So like you're not maintaining your property correctly. It's in blighted conditions. Okay. Autumn says about 3.5 hours. I can't remember what that is. McKee paying for minute. I think so. I think he is. I mean, she's not a public defender. She is a high profile local attorney. She's a Harvard instructor. So yeah. And Ohio Palm Mom, I apologize. I don't know why. I think I'm just not breathing deeply enough because I'm not tired. Mooney asks, so DP is not on the table? I don't think it is. No. I don't know why. A. Heineman says DP is not decided yet. They will determine that later. Okay. Scotch's mom says McKee is a flight risk. I think so too. Yes, it is a specification on guns. I just was trying to figure out what does a specification mean. It's like an addition. Joanne, have you ever seen anyone get a not guilty verdict with these types of charges? Specifically, these types of charges? I guess I haven't. Not that comes to mind. Yeah. Nothing comes to mind right now. Glasgow, Scotland in the house. Glad you're here. Buffalo, New York is in the house. Thank you very much. Emmy says, how to follow you on Slack. I used to use it. I use Slack as a tool for kind of my inner circle. So that's my mods, my Facebook and social media admins, my writers on Crime Cod. We use Slack to communicate with one another. So it's not something that I really like put out there in the public. Aunt Tiss, I see this, but I don't see your previous comment. You gotta give me more. Gotta give me more. But yeah, guys, so that's what happened in the case today. Oh yeah, Aunt Tiss says, would OJ be a similar case where he was found not guilty? Well, it is yeah. I mean, it was a DV case. If the glove don't fit, you can't. Oh, you must acquit. Is that the famous line? Yeah, OJ is a similar case. Yeah, good job. What year was that? I feel like I was out of the country for this. What year was OJ Simpson arrested? 94. And I left in January of 95. So June of 94 is when that famous police pursuit happened. In January of 95, I was gonzo and living in a beautiful, but at the time, definitely third world country where I had very limited communication with the outside world. I lived in some places where there was a telephone in town, but it was one telephone. And, you'd have to pay little features for it. That these little coins that were made specifically for the payphone. You know what that is? You know what that is right there? I did it. It's my fault. Yep, that was me. That was my fault. I got on my tangent of O.J. Simpson, and for some reason, the shiny little features down in the middle of RG land. Oh my goodness, it's so cool that I am now in contact with friends that I made in the 1990s in Argentina because they have cell phones and the internet. And when I was there, it was that was not even close to on the horizon. Well, in fact, I got home in January of 97, and the Windows 95 revolution happened after I left. And so in about December of 96, a new missionary came down and he was telling me all about email, and it blew my mind. It just blew my mind. I just couldn't believe it. It was so amazing. So, but now I'm in touch with folks that honestly, when I left the country, I thought I'd never see again. I was really sad about. Anyway, super long tangent. Wait a minute. He was acquitted on my birthday? October 3rd, 95, he was acquitted. On my birthday. That was my 20th birthday. Right? Let me do the math here. Yeah, that was my 20th birthday. Oh, I am old. I turned 50 this year, guys. Beck lived in Asuncion a couple of years ago. Awesome. And in 95, Emmy says, I moved to Malta from my Bulgaria. Awesome. Malta. I've never been to Malta. Never been to Malta. Anywho, guys, you know what time it is? You know what time it is. Let's get into 3 questions.
It's 3 questions with Gavin Fish.
Pow. Okay, in this segment, guys, as you know, or you don't, maybe you're new here. And if you are, welcome. Thanks for being here. In this segment, I answer 3 questions. Let's see. I do it this way. Some people do it this way. Some people do it that way. You know what? Guys. Okay, listen. I have to do another tangent. I'm sorry. I am on a journey to get healthy, okay? That means I'm exercising, I'm stretching, I'm eating sensible whole foods, high in protein and high in other nutrients. It's been just life-changing for me. I have always done, well, not always. In my adulthood, I have made the number 3 with my hand this way because I couldn't do it this way. Because I couldn't, I couldn't reach my thumb over to my pinky without pain. And here I am. Can I do it? I can do it on both. That's pretty awesome. I've been experiencing these major changes in my life just by making minor tweaks. It's so cool. Anyway, man, that is I am really delighted about that little that's so cool. My hands are all stretched out and limber in comparison. They're not as limber as, say, the hands of my lovely wife, who is a fitness guru and kind of a gym rat, I gotta say. Kind of a gym rat. But anyway, okay, what was I saying? 3 questions. 3 questions. In this segment, I answer 3 of your questions that you send in to me at the email address shown on the screen, 3questions@gavinfish.com. It's spelled out, THREE, questions@gavinfish.com, 3questions@gavinfish.com. You can send in 1 question at a time. You can send in 3 questions. You can send in 1,000 questions at a time, or you could just send in a question every day for the next 1,000 days. It doesn't matter to me. What matters is that I solemnly promise to you that I will answer all of the questions to the best of my ability and honestly. So here we go with question number 1. It just says favorite childhood memory. Well, that is not even a question at all. In fact, I don't even think that's a complete sentence. Favorite childhood memory. It's not. There's no predicate. Okay, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You're asking me, what is my favorite childhood memory? So I had the, it feels more and more like it's unique or, rare, but I had a happy freaking childhood, man. I had grandparents who loved me, aunts and uncles. I had so many cousins. My parents love each other and me and my siblings. I have awesome siblings. I had a really happy childhood. I had really good friends. And as I grew up, I did all the things that you do as you grow. So do I have a favorite childhood memory? I don't think so. I don't think I have a favorite childhood memory. I have so many moments that are awesome though. So let me just pick one. Oh, here's one. My oldest sister got married in 1988. That would have made me almost 13 years old. I was 12, and it was in the summer. To my brother-in-law, who was awesome. I mean, I'm 50 years old now. He's been my brother-in-law for 38 years. So awesome. but it was a stressful time, and if I'm going to be honest, she was a bit of a bridezilla, but nothing in comparison to Grandmazilla. Oh, she was hard to take, man. But anyway, after the wedding in the summer, my baby sister and I were invited to go with Grandpa and Grandma back to their place, back in the town that I consider my hometown, up in Summit County, Utah. And we went back there. Now, my sister and brother-in-law went on their camping honeymoon, which is no honeymoon at all. Don't do that to your beloved, okay? Listen, these are not my words. I stole these from somebody else. But I was told once, and I agree with this completely. Camping, I hate camping, okay? It's either too hot, too cold, too wet, or too dry. Do you know where it is perfect? My living room. And that's how I feel about camping. But that's what they did for their honeymoon. Okay, they're two young broke kids. It's fine. It's fine. But about 2 days into hanging out at Grandpa and Grandma's house, which is like a playland, my sister and new brother-in-law show up because I think my sister was just sick of camping, wanted a shower. And anyway, this is a long story. Make a long story longer. My brother-in-law, wanting me out of the house because they were there, had a motorcycle that he had strapped in the back of their truck. And he basically was just like, have at it, man. And I rode that thing for like 2 days. Oh, it was so much fun. It was a Yamaha big wheel. It had big fat flotation tires, so it felt different than anything I had ever ridden before that. It was so much fun. Just had so much fun. And if my brother-in-law wasn't already the coolest in my mind before, he certainly was after. Oh, yes. I don't know. That's one of my favorite. I've got 1,000 childhood memories that are awesome. First kisses, right? Magical. Magical. The first time that you realize, for people my age, we would do dances, right? That's Saturday night dance was a thing that we would do, our Friday night dance. And when you're starting out at those, you're 12, you're 13 years old. The slow songs are what you dread. But there's a moment where the slow dance becomes the thing that you look forward to. And that is a magical moment. Oh, yes. Yes, it is. Okay. Favorite adult memory to date. Oh, goodness. Goodness sake. Favorite adult. Again, I live a really happy life. I favorite adult. I couldn't even narrow it down to a favorite. Let me see. It's gonna be with Kimberly or one of the kids. Let me just choose a magical one. Oh, here's one. I used to travel on business a lot, and I needed to go to Munich, and that Munich was a place that I would go to at least once a year, usually 2 or 3 times, but at least once a year. And Kimberly and I decided that we wanted to expand our children's understanding of the world. So when they turned 14, they became eligible for an international trip, and they could choose which one. Our oldest daughter chose Europe. I think all we did there was Germany and Austria, but she wanted to go to Austria because she's a nerd for musical theater the way her dad is, and she wanted to see Villa Trapp, the home of Georg and Maria von Trapp, who were immortalized in The Sound of Music, right? So anyway, we spent a lot of fun time together. But there was one night, and Grace she'd been making it really hard on me for about a year before that. I had decided that I just didn't like my child at that point. I'd had enough. 13-year-olds are the worst. I mean, they are. We all were, right? At least I think we all were. I definitely was. But we had this moment of father-daughter bonding one night in Munich. We were in our hotel room and we turned on the TV and the Disney Channel was on. And of course, this is a 14-year-old girl. And so there was just like a Disney Channel musical, High School Musical, or I can't remember what it was, but there was like a Disney Channel movie on, a musical movie on. We decided instead of going out, we would just get room service and we would watch it seems stupid. We're in Germany. We should go do something. But she was tired. She'd had enough. I'd dragged her everywhere and I'd made her eat asparagus and stuff like that because May in Munich is Spargel season. It's so delicious. She didn't like it. But anyway, when that movie was over, another movie came on and it just kept going all night long. We watched Disney Channel musical movies all night long till about 5 a.m. And then we're like, well, we're planning on Villa Trap today. Should we take a nap and then go? And she's like, well, I'm up. Are you up? I'm up. So we hopped in the car and drove to Austria. I was gassed at the end of that day, but it was so much fun to just watch kitschy little movies with my daughter in Germany, eating room service and potato chips and candy. It was the moment where I started to like her again. I always loved her. But there was a year, man. Was there a year? Yeah, that is a favorite adult memory. Last question. Scariest thing you've ever experienced. This is easy. Kimberly and I have 5 children. We have a almost 10-year gap between child number 3 and child number 4. And then we have, so the first 3 are very close together. The last 2 are very close together. But when we had our baby, our youngest, it was a difficult delivery. And for a moment, I thought that I had lost my wife. And that's not me being over dramatic. I mean, it was a life or death kind of thing. That is the scariest moment of my life, for sure. Now, listen, I want you to tell me your answers to the 3 questions of the day. Favorite childhood memory, favorite adult memory, and scariest thing you have ever experienced. Please don't be as verbose as I am. Just type it in there. Use your flums. And while you're doing that, we're going to move on. We're going to give you some time by moving on to headlines. Here we go.
True crime headlines.
Okay, join me once again over at Acrobat. This one from TMZ. TMZ has been on the Celeste Rivas Hernandez case this whole time. It says David's friend Neo arrested for failure to appear as a witness. And I'm going to skip the updates and go down to here, and then we'll come back to the updates. While David remains in the crosshairs, if you guys remember the case of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, 14-year-old girl found in pieces in the front trunk of David Burke's Tesla in Hollywood. Oh my goodness. It is a sad case, of course. But anyway, while David remains in the crosshairs of investigators, and this is yellow journalism, man, probing the Celeste Rivas murder, one of his friends, a famous streamer, is also in trouble now. David's friend Leo Langston was booked into a Montana jail Thursday on a warrant, according to online records. A rep for Lewis and Clark County Jail, where Neo is locked up, tells TMZ there was an out-of-jurisdiction warrant from Los Angeles for failure to appear as a witness. He's currently held without bond. And then it goes on to say, interesting because there has been a grand jury convened since at least November in Celeste's murder case with multiple witnesses testifying. Our sources have told us David is likely to be charged with her murder. Unclear if 23-year-old Neo was being called as a witness in the Rivas case, but his connection to David can't be ignored. And then I'm going to go up to the top. The update at 1:56. Cops in Helena, Montana confirm they were assisting LAPD's robbery homicide division when they busted Neo. That is the division leading the investigation of the Celeste Rivas Hernandez murder. And then the second update, Neo is already being transferred to Los Angeles, according to multiple law enforcement sources in Montana. We're told his trek south began immediately after a Friday morning appearance before a judge. So we've got that news coming out of TMZ. Interesting how they write that, man. But okay. Next headline, Luigi Mangioni's federal murder trial starts September 8th. Judge says, I think this is unlikely to happen, but written by Michael R. Sissick and Larry Neumeister from the AP. Dateline New York. Luigi Mangioni's federal murder trial in the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson will begin with jury selection September 8th, a judge said Friday. Judge Margaret Garnett said the rest of the trial schedule, including opening statements and testimony, is contingent on whether she allows prosecutors to seek the DP. It's one of several issues the judge is weighing. If the DP is still in play, the next phase of the trial will begin January 11th, 2027. That's more than 4 months after the start of jury selection. So I think that that's unlikely to happen on that schedule, but they do have to schedule those things. So we'll see what happens later this year. All right, and finally, from Court TV, ex-Olympic snowboarder on FBI's most wanted list has been arrested. Dateline, this is the AP as well. Dateline, Ontario, California. Ryan Wedding, a former Canadian Olympic snowboarder who was among the FBI's top fugitives, is facing charges related to multinational drug trafficking and the killing of a federal witness. Has been arrested in Mexico, top Justice Department officials said Friday. Wedding, 44, is accused of running a drug trafficking operation, and officials say he orchestrated several killings to further the drug crimes. He was on the 10 most wanted fugitives list, and authorities had offered a $15 million reward for information leading to his arrest and conviction. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi, FBI Director Kash Patel confirmed Wedding's arrest on social media posts. So that guy is off the street. Looks like he's wearing a Patek. What are those called? A Nautilus? That's what it looks like, but of course it's a small picture. Anyway, those are your headlines.
True crime headlines.
All right, let's check out what you guys are saying over here. Let's see. Archangel Marici also hates camping. Beck likes glamping. Judy Allison, camping was never for her. Garth is all about glamping. You know what I consider camping? And I know this makes me hoity-toity nose in the air, but if it's a 3-star hotel, that's camping for me. Okay? I don't. Reality vacation. I love camping, says me who hasn't gone in 20 years. That's funny. Emmy says, my favorite memory is getting married 15 years ago. That's sweet. That is awesome. Let's see. Reality vacation. Asparagus sure beats okra. Dude, if you have not had German Spargel, which it's asparagus, but what they do is they don't let the asparagus stalks see sunlight. As it grows, they mound more dirt on it, and it keeps growing. They mound more dirt on it. So it grows thick, man, like big, maybe not that big, but way bigger than asparagus that we get here. And it's white, and it is delicious. I know that there are restaurants throughout the U.S. that in the spring import that particular asparagus, but I've only ever had it in Germany. It's amazing. Scotch's mom says, favorite childhood memory going to Padre Island, Texas when I was 7. Favorite adult memory, taking my daughter to Disneyland when she was 6. Awesome. And scariest moment, being stuck in an elevator. Mooney says, I visited Von Trapp House in Austria. Beautiful. Has she been to the Von Trapp family lodge in Vermont? No, we have not. Apparently that is where they ended up when they came to the U.S. Awesome. G Smile Sarah says, I've set notification for a show many times and I'm never notified. So I'm watching the end and I'll go back and watch the whole episode. I'm sorry that's happening. I don't know why that happens. I do not know. The Meg says, my favorite adult memory, my husband and I didn't get a honeymoon. For our 10th anniversary, we went to Florida and I went to the beach for the first time. I felt so free and happy we moved there. That's awesome. I love it. Love it. Favorite childhood memory from the Meg, probably going on motorcycle rides with my dad to the mountains for a shake and a burger at Coney Island. That's cool. That's cool. G Smile Sarah, didn't hear all the questions, but if there's a favorite adult memory, I'd say it's the birth of my 2 children. They are my everything. Beautiful. And then let's see, Shauna Bo says, favorite childhood memory, sitting on the back porch at my grandparents' house with my papa, eating his homemade canned dill pickles, drinking my granny's sweet tea. That's awesome. A Mischievous Dragon, Ryan wedding t-shirt. Those look like Welks, a notable state of... I'm not following. Sorry. Not following. Okay. I think those are all the comments. Thanks, guys. Favorite childhood memory, cross-country skiing. And Emmy says she's a nerd for Backstreet Boys. I do have Backstreet Boys on my playlist, on my likes. I like Backstreet Boys. They're little, I don't know, that whole time, I went to high school from 89 to 93. And that whole time where like New Kids on the Block, and there were just so many bands. There were so many like groups, boy bands, girl bands. I didn't really get into them, but later on, I'd start listening to their stuff, and I'm like, hey, dang, that's a pretty good song. It's pretty great. So yeah, I'm happy for you. All right, guys, that's the end of the week for us. That's the end of the week. And we're ending on time, which is awesome. Don't forget that you can always reach out to me on my website, gavinfish.com. Go to the swag store, pick yourself up a Cluvelta mug or t-shirt or the other stuff that I have there. I mean, have you guys seen the stuff that you can get yourself a dill hole mug? This very mug, right? Well, not this very mug with my like DNA all over it, but a mug just like it. And you can find other ways. Don't forget to, like, if you can, buy my lead mod, Autumn, a coffee. You can do that on the website. Also, join us on Facebook in the Fish Tank. All you have to do is on my website, click on the little icon up in the upper right. Let me show it to you real quick. This little fishy right up here, if you click on that, that will take you to the Fish Tank. And that's where we hang out on Facebook. And you're always cordially invited to join us there. With that, guys, I shall bid you adieu. Thank you very much for a wonderful week. We will see you next week. Hopefully. Don't forget to subscribe. I know everybody says that, but thank you. We'll see you. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.